And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is September 29th. We are almost to the end of the month. One more day to go, but we are more than halfway through this week. I hope you guys all had a spectacular day. Pretty much, for the most part, other than the euro, everything pretty much stayed inside. Some good opportunities there. Crude oil opens up this morning, closes the gap to settlement price, continues to run a little bit before it breaks back down. We'll see exactly where it broke down nicely when we take a look at these charts. You got S&Ps and the NASDAQ really stayed inside. S&P, what I loved here today, we opened up this morning. We rallied right towards, not quite to, but right towards the overnight high. From there, we broke down to settlement price. Took some time. It was one of those nice trades you can kind of sit in. Let it play out. Let it do what it's going to do. Run it down to settlement price. Settlement price bounce. We go double top in the afternoon, right to where we had the break this morning. Gosh, gotta love when a range trade sets up like that. You get 2-3 great opportunities. That market finally breaks back down almost to settlement price here, ending the day. We saw a nice little sell-off to end the day there. NASDAQ, a little bit different, still showing trend lower. Our high, we have lower highs and our lower lows are barely hanging on there. That market opened up this morning. We got a nice little pop. We rallied right up to near the overnight highs. Breaks down. Finally runs through settlement price, and then we get a little pop then, just like the S&Ps there at the end of the day. So some good opportunities there. Love when these markets get range bound, kind of makes us adjust. It forces us to tweak what we've been doing if we've been seeing some directional moves. Now, speaking of direction, you got gold. Gold opened up this morning. Started to see a little sell-off during the London session. As soon as we opened up, the sell-off was on. We caught a little bit of a shelf. A little bit of support when we hit settlement price, but once we accepted below that market, and it just continued to the downside. The euro never makes a look towards settlement price. I guess it opens up, shows a little bit of life, just a little bit of strength and a downtrend move there. That market really sells off hard here today, and the 10-year note stays inside. Opens up high, closes down towards settlement price, holds most of the day. It settles until the last half hour or so. Things going on in the world. Part of the reason why we're not seeing a whole lot, there's no information coming out just yet. You've got military officials on Capitol Hill for the second day here talking about what's been going on with the Afghanistan stuff. So I highly recommend just keeping an eye on that if that's you think that's something that could affect these markets. I don't think it will just yet, but if some of the other stuff that does come out, we may see something there. You've got the potential government shutdown looming on Congress right now. So that's going to be weighing a heavy part as we move forward. There's a lot of debate about this this budget and the spending that they have going on forward. So we'll see what comes out of that. Powell talking today just about how he says inflation is getting a little frustrating for him, and he believes that we'll see it continuing into next year. I'm not surprised. Next year is just around the corner, a couple more months, and we are through 2021, another wild year. And we're continuing to see that CPI number showing huge percentages, that 5+% there in CPI. So lots going on. Let's see. Ricardo, good to see you. Bill, Brian, Harry, good to see you. Subconscious. Ricardo, no hat, Dan. Nice crispy cut. You know, every so often, I do get a haircut regularly. I do regularly do my hair. I'm a hat guy. You guys know me. I always have a hat on. So I got a haircut yesterday. Figured, why not go no hat here today? Robert, good to see you. Captain, thank you. Yeah, and I'm no hat. It was a decent day. I'll tell you, if I'm making a lot of money, though, it doesn't look this good. If it's one of those kind of days, if I'm seeing good P&Ls, I'm a little flustered. I don't look well kept. Today was still a pretty good day. Wide sideways. Yep, absolutely there, Captain. All right, why don't we take a look at these charts here, see what we got going on. But by the way, as a reminder, tomorrow, no recap. There will be a Q&A. I'm sitting down with Michael. You've all seen it. We have removed and added adjusted some rules for step 2, that pro account there as well. And we've also removed that winning trade duration. So we'll be answering all sorts of questions on that. If you've got the email about that yesterday, you can submit questions there. You can also bring them here into the YouTube channel tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time when we sit down. I will say I'm better at answering questions. Better at answering questions that are pre-sent in because the chat gets pretty thick and heavy, and there's a lot going on. There's always something being said there and conversations being had. If you do email them in, I'll have a better chance of making sure I see that question. So that's just as a little PSA, public service announcement. You were pretty flustered yesterday, so you made a ton of money yesterday. No, yesterday wasn't a great day, but wasn't a bad day. It was pretty much a sideways day, I guess you could say, in my P&L, which gets, I think, even more frustrating when you're up and then you're down and then you're up and then you're down and then you're up and then you're down. That's really my big frustrating days. At least give me some consistency, right? I like my consistency. I'd rather be consistently wrong, shut my day down early and call it, or be consistently profitable and just have a knock it out of the park day. I tend to slow down towards the end of the month, though, with any of the trading I'm doing. So, today was a pretty light day for me. Traded this morning, did pretty well, got out and let a couple things happen. But that's how I structure my month. I hit it pretty heavy in the beginning of the month, so I know October's coming. So I will hit it hard come next week. So I look to go a little bit more intense in the beginning of the month, and then I start to scale back. I don't want to risk the profits I've had. All right, let's take a look at these charts. As always, we're going to start with our crude oil. And like we said, crude oil, we open up this morning, and this is what we love to see when our markets are presenting some opportunity. I got to adjust one thing here, just a moment. All right, there we go. The market opens up this morning, and we opened up right near point of control. Market opens up, moves through point of control. And what's our target up above? When we see a market moving, we got to find those targets. We got to know where this thing can go before we can execute a trade, right? If we feel like we're in the middle of yesterday's range, where's this thing going to really move to? Well, we've got a beautiful target of value area high from yesterday. That, to me, is my target up above. I'm looking to see if I can get this market to move to there. Now, if I miss the initial move up there, then I've got a chance. This is where I'm starting to look for another opportunity. We can see if we accept. It's going to take a little bit longer for me to accept, but we saw rejection pretty darn quickly at value area high. That, to me, here is the best trade of the day. Taking the short off of value area high yesterday, right around 75.60, and rotating this right down to value area low of yesterday, which happens to be the swing low of the day, 74.60. So a nice $1 move there, locking $1,000 a contract. That's not a bad day whatsoever, and you can sit in this trade and you can be comfortable with it. And those are the trades that we want to look for. I like trades that I'm comfortable in. I know John says the best trades that he has are the ones he's uncomfortable in, and I would say my biggest trades are similar to that. But I really like the trades that I'm comfortable in because that means I got a good entry, and I'm okay if the market checks my entry point a couple times because I'm confident in where I got in and I know my risk is relatively managed. Next, let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. The S&P today sets up us really, really nicely. Opens up this morning. We got settlement price down here at 43 half. So just below our low of the day, right by point of control from yesterday, which happens to be today's swing low. Market opens up this morning, and it makes it, this is where you get faked out a little bit, right? Where I look at this market opening up right down here, right? We open up right around 43.55, let's call it. We got value area high yesterday up here at 65, 10 points. It's a lot of risk for me to take in a trade if I'm looking to see it possibly move down 10, 11 points. I'm not ready to take this trade, right? I have to be patient. I got to wait for myself, for this market to get to a point where I can execute a trade while managing my risk. So what am I looking for? Mark, I'm going to watch this open. Either I'm going to look to be long down below as soon as we come down and start checking points of control and settlement price to see if I can get this market to rotate higher, or I'm going to do what I did today, and I sat on my hands and I waited a little bit longer. Market finally around 9:30 this morning approaches overnight highs. This, to me, is a great area that I like to trade at. I like to use those overnight highs and lows really for execution areas, and I watch this market rotate higher. I'm thinking range bound at this point. This is not a directional trade. We didn't get directional in the overnight session. We stayed inside. I like that. We opened up. We're staying inside. We didn't see it break out right away one direction or the other. We rally right up to overnight highs. To me, boom, here's our chance to get the gap down to settlement price, closing down to point of control. Market does exactly that. Breaks right down to settlement point of control. Boom. We rallied right back up. Now, this is a tough one. Am I taking the long here? I don't know. I did not personally. But once we saw a double top, you bet your bottom dollar that's our short to take and see if we can run that down towards the end of the day. Now, that's where we have to ask ourselves, am I okay getting in the last hour and a half of the day? That's going to be something you have to decide on your own. I tend to be a little bit more patient come the tail end of the day. After we hit that New York and Chicago lunches, that's when I'm looking to start to peel off. So today, this was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Am I taking that short? I personally did not. I saw it approach. Did I want to take it? I did. I'm not a fan of last hour trades when I'm having an up day. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, similar but a little bit different. We're not seeing the double top that we saw in the S&Ps, but we saw a similar open. Market made the attempt to move lower. This market actually had checked point of control off the open. Rallies right back up, falls just shy. This is what we like to see. I'd like to see that this market is struggling to get back to overnight highs. That's giving me a simple indication that this market's looking to rotate lower. Market rotates lower and comes right down to, you guessed it, yesterday's value area low. Please mark these levels on your charts each and every day. If you're not trading to and away from them, that's okay, but it's going to help keep a reference point for yourself, right? If I'm sitting here and I start to draw out just the simplicity off the open, all right, we've got an overnight high. This is an area I'm going to keep an eye on. Where's my overnight low? My overnight low. All the way down, basically value area low yesterday. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. We have value area high. Want to keep an eye there. You know, and once you start to recognize this, it's going to help you kind of stay out of the chop. I think a lot of people get caught in that chop, and it's strictly because we're not paying attention to prior settings, or we're not drawing on, paying attention to exactly where our levels are. Or if we're looking at too short a time frame, you can lose what the overall trend, what the overall market state really is. And that's okay. If you're comfortable trading on that 5-minute, 1-minute chart, if that's what works for you, far be it for me to tell you to do something different. I can't personally look that low, but if that works for you, make sure you're giving yourself some sort of reference to stay out of the chop. Right? We're sitting in the middle of everything we've got going on off the open. That's really tough for me to get in here and say, I'm going to trade this. I'm going to be really hesitant there. I got to wait for it to approach some of my extremes. I want to see, do we blow through the top side of my extreme or one of the first level here? I'm not going to call it support and resistance because support and resistance is strictly hindsight, right? So just a key level, value area high yesterday. We saw some resistance there in the overnight session, finally broke through. Saw a little bit of support, right? So it worked as both resistance and support. What's it going to do? The first time we rallied to it, we moved right through. Boom. All of a sudden, I'm starting to approach yesterday's or last night's overnight high. I like this. I really like this. What does that happen to be? The swing low from the prior night session. All right. I got 2 points over 2 days that I'm paying attention to. I'm liking this. As I approach, now I can start to look for some sort of execution. If we make it there or if we fail to check those levels, market starts to rotate lower. And as soon as we see it starting to fail, moving higher, that's our opportunity to take the short. Next, let's go ahead and look at the gold market. Like we said, gold got a little directional here as soon as we opened up. Opens up this morning, initial move is lower. Makes no attempt to go higher. What does that tell us? Market's looking to get directional to the downside. All right? So I'm probably not going to take the initial move, waiting for equity market to open. Equity market opens up right at value area high yesterday. We get 2 options here. I'm probably thinking here, I'm not a huge gold trader, so I'm not trading it every day. But for me, watching this market here today, there's an opportunity to take a long off as soon as equities open. We rotate right down to value area high. There's a long opportunity here. You can keep that stop tight. You can keep that stop relatively tight because as soon as that market moves through and we start to see it trading inside yesterday's value area, that's our opportunity to give it up. Look for the short side move. Short side move pays off quite well today. We start to break right through value area low yesterday. We move right down to yesterday's swing low. We rally up. Now here's another chance. Where are we breaking this up to? Value area low from yesterday. Rejects. Another short. We take the short all the way down. See if we can go check our session lows, or we can see if this market continues through. That session low earlier is where this market's going to end up today, right at 1725. But we strong downside move here today. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Like we said, euro downtrend all day. We open up this morning and we see a little bit of life. Now, this is where it gets tough, right? We are seeing strength off the open. Big picture. Big picture is this market for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now is in a downtrend. When we see strength, you're not looking at that reversal. You're waiting for that strength to take the shorts, right? Until this market tells me otherwise. Until I start marking new highs, right? Unless we're marking higher highs or if we're marking higher lows, that's starting to tell us something. We're not doing any of that here. We're just seeing a little bit of a relief in the sell-off, and that's our chance as traders to take the short. And that's all we had to look for today. We wanted to look for a little bit of strength or a little bit of relief in the sell-off to continue with that short side move, breaking all the way down to 160.55, where this market's pretty much going to end the day. Or 160.05 half, excuse me. All right, lastly, let's take a look at the 10-year note. Like I said, 10-year note was a tough one. We opened up right, it's tight, right? So we open up this morning, we rally right to overnight high. Boom. Multiple markets here today setting up towards those overnight swing highs and swing lows. Things that we want to pay attention to. And people honking outside my house right now. No clue who it was. Market opens up. We rally right to overnight highs. That market starts to rotate lower. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a chance. I'm looking always personally to try and stay inside. Market stays inside. Rotates lower. Comes and checks. Value area low from yesterday. So some good opportunities out there in all these markets. Hope you guys were able to find something there for them. It's Wednesday. We're getting here towards the end of the week. So start thinking about that capital preservation. Locking in what you got. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. Think about that throughout the week, right? If you've had a good week so far, you don't want to keep pushing it. Look for those little gains. Look to continue to put yourself in a good opportunity. If the market presents a great opportunity, frickin' take it. I got no problem with that. But don't be putting yourself at unnecessary risk. You don't want to put yourself at any unnecessary risk as the week comes towards the close. Especially when we've seen such downside moves here in the equities. Will those continue? Or is it all short time frame shorts locking it in, and then towards the end of the week they're going to start locking in profits? Or do we start to accelerate and you start to see bigger institutions continuing with these shorts and selling it lower? The yields, what happens with the yields? You've got concerns with the power outages and the rolling blackouts in China, shutting down factories. Tesla, Apple, those are a couple of the ones that we've talked about this week. So there's a lot going on. GDP comes out tomorrow morning. There's a lot's going to happen that could continue this directional move or could totally flip it in the other way and we end the week higher. So, be patient. Wait for your opportunities. Take those A setups. Don't have to take every trade that comes your way. Wait for that market to present some good opportunities. Speaking of what's coming out the rest of this week, like we said, tomorrow, GDP, jobless claims at 7:30 tomorrow morning. After that, pretty light day. You're going to have Chicago PMI, natural gas numbers coming out. Nat gas, been a volatile one. Again, be cautious if you're trading that. Huge swings, a lot of risk on the table trading that market right now. And then lastly, Friday, personal income outlays, PMI manufacturing, ISM manufacturing, construction spending, consumer sentiment. So a bunch of numbers coming out Friday between 7:30 and 9 a.m. Central Time. And then we can kind of shut it down for the week. All right, a couple things to look at here. Before I forget, we want to take a look at our Bitcoin, which is not popping up for me again. Whoops, wrong button there. Here we go. Bitcoin today, right now, trading 40,930. So a little bit of a down day there. Then our other one, we got our Airbnb. Remember, we're long Airbnb from $148 today. Airbnb is down a little bit again, not huge, half a dollar, $168.07. Tesla, $78.31. So got a little bit of green here today in that one. GameStop, the sell-off continues in GameStop. Just a couple week or two ago, we were up above 200. Now we're plus one, or up 175. 175.92 is where that one's trading. AMC, whoops, looking at the wrong thing here. AMC down a little bit today, $35.54. Now, I'm not your financial advisor, but if you're long these stocks and you're in some good places on them, those ones might be good ones to lock in some profits. Robinhood down a little bit here today, $43.13. And the VIX, kind of all over the board. We popped up to 23, where is it? 23.8. We opened up right around 22.7. Going to end the day right now at 22.6. So volatile day, going to end the day pretty much unchanged in the VIX. All right, that's what we got going on here today. Remember, Thursday, tomorrow afternoon, MP and I will be sitting down, Q&A, talking about everything going on with Top Step and trading. So bring your questions. He and I, we're excited. And we'll be in the office, so we'll be next to each other. Looking forward to that. And then we got the weekend right around the corner. So be patient here, everybody. Take your time. Look for those bigger opportunities. Manage that risk. Take those high probability setups and keep plugging away. So John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.